Hey guys, it's Andrew from REI Live Columbia, and I'm here to talk about math. Not real estate, but kind of math, kind of real estate, a little bit of both. All right, we get this question all the time. It is, how do you figure out the taxes in South Carolina? How do I figure out the property taxes on an investment deal? Because when you own a house that you live in, it's different from when you own an investment property. So it's difficult to figure out. It's kind of like all these numbers. It's a lot of people just guessing. But we don't really like to guess. We want to at least get pretty close, because you can't buy an investment property unless you know what it's going to cost to own it. All right. So this question comes up all the time because South Carolina has a higher property tax for investors. Much higher, actually, than when you actually live in it. I'm not going to get into the politics of that or where that came from, but essentially it makes it different when people are thinking of investing in South Carolina. Here, we kind of like that. We like that people are scared away from that because we get more deals that way. But I'm going to share the math with you so you don't have to be afraid of it, so that you can go make informed decisions. All right? So let's jump into it. This is going to be instructions. This is going to be a little educational. Get a pencil and paper. We will have the examples available for you here, and the millage sheet. Of course, that updates every year, so you can pull that off of your county website. All right. So let's jump into this math time. All right. So what is millage? I said millage. That is this sheet here. It's going to be right here on the screen for you. The millage sheet is how your property taxes are calculated. So in South Carolina, if you own a house that you live in, your assessed value is at 4%. If you own an investment property, your assessed value is at 6%. So easy math. If you have a $100,000 tax assessed value property, you start off at $4,000 assessed property taxes, or $6,000 assessed property taxes. Then that number is multiplied by the millage rate based on your tax district, your school district, and a few other, like your municipality, all those factors. It's a lot going on. Thankfully, there's a sheet. It's kind of easy. They produce it for you, so you just have to do the math. You don't have to figure out where all that stuff comes from. All right? All right. So then the taxes, what does it look like for taxes as an overview? When you live in the property, that 4%, you get 4% is in times the millage rate, but here in South Carolina, we've given a lot of discounts and rebates and deductions, or freebies, if you will, to the owner-occupied property. So a lot of the millage rate thing is taken off, but then you get some credits back. All right. But we're not going to worry about that. That's just for your knowledge, because we're looking at investment property. You will have the 6% times the full millage rate, without the credits and the deductions and the bonuses that we give to owner-occupied. Now, I hear people, I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. I hear people say, well, I could just trick them and I'll tell them I live in the house and it'll be fine. I'll get the 4%. It'll be way cheaper. Don't do that. That is not an investment strategy. That's not a long-term strategy. You do not want to build a business on defrauding the government, okay, or defrauding anyone. So don't do that. Run your numbers. And if it doesn't work with full 6% tax rate, then it doesn't work. Don't buy that investment property. All right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through the math. I'm going to show you these two tax bills that we have. One was a owner-occupied tax rate. The other one is an investment tax bill. All right? So one's 4%, one's 6%. And we'll show you the differences, and then we'll show you exactly how to calculate your own tax bill based on the value of your property. All right. Now let me just give a little disclaimer. We're making this video right now because property taxes is kind of coming up. It's time to pay your property taxes, and what we're seeing are people that haven't paid their property taxes. So if you want to find that good deal that you can still cash flow at the 6% rate, go to the Deal Finders Club, the REI Live Columbia website. We have it there. You can click on the tab and you can learn how to find properties that are maybe behind on their property taxes. All right, so you can go find that deal. All right, so let's jump into the math. Right now I'm going to look at the 4% tax bill. Okay, so this 4% tax bill is from a property that we bought, but there was an owner in it. Of course, we then flipped it and sold it, and so it became another owner-occupied. So this bill is actually at 4% rate. And right here, I'm just going to highlight a couple of things so that you can see. The appraised taxable value, $68,000, which then you take that number and you multiply it by 0.04, which would be 4%. And I'm going to do the math here, right here for you. Times 0.04 equals your total assessed value of $2,720. All right, and then you take this. And it shows it right here, 4%. Easy peasy. These bills are nice. Remember, we're doing this math for you so you can figure this out. You can figure out your tax expense without the bill. Because remember, we're evaluating properties. This is going to help you evaluate the property. So you're not going to have this bill in front of you. What you will have is a tax assessed value from the assessor's office. We'll do another video if you don't know how to pull that up. Pretty easy in most counties. All right. So we've got the 4%, and then we have the mills. And that is this additional sheet that we have here, which is the Richland County millage schedule. And so this tax district is actually up in the upper right-hand corner of this tax bill. And it's going to show you exactly how much the millage rate is, which in this tax district is 475.10. So we are right here at the bottom. And guys, as we look through this tax millage schedule, we have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of bills. We have a lot of it shows you exactly where your taxes are going. So you got schools, and you got the zoo, and you got the fire service. You've got all of those things. We don't really care about that. All we care about is the bottom number. All right. So this one is at 475.10. All right. So we would take, and actually on this tax bill, you'll see right here, it kind of shows it for you. But you take that tax assessed value, which is 4% of the property value. So 2720 times, and the millage rate is, you don't multiply it by 475. It's 0.47510 equals, and you see it right here. That's your tax amount. So this particular property is $1,292. All right. Then remember, this is our owner occupied. Here's where you start getting some credits. You get a school tax credit. You get a local option credit. And then they're going to charge you for garbage there at the bottom. That's where you come up with your total tax amount. And as you can see, not that bad. $784 out of 68 is pretty cheap. Let's just see. I think it's divided by 68. It is about 1%, a little less than 1%, a little bit more than 1%, 1.15%. All right, of the property value. So that is what it looks like as an owner occupied. Okay, so that's how it looks. Now let me show you why it's so different and why people have it's like sticker shock when they go change a property from 4% to 6%. Guys, here's a tip. Here's a big tip. Like, put a big tip on this one. If you're selling a flip and you bought it and you've got it taxed at the 6% for whatever reason, if you had it for a year or longer, make sure you go and when you sell it, try to put in there, try to get the tax the tax proration done at 4%. All right, because this can save you literally $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at the closing table. All right, go ahead and try to put that in there when you're selling a flip or something you had as a rental. You want that proration to be at 4% if it's going to an owner-occupied. All right, we are jumping into the investment property. All right, so the tax bill looks exactly the same. Remember, we see our tax district up in the upper right-hand corner. And then this tax district tells us that we're going to be at a 5.5 total levy as far as the tax, the millage rate. So in this one, it's actually broken out into county and the city. This property's in the city, so there's a city municipality that they add additional taxes to that. So if I add these two up, it should be plus 93.8. Yeah. So it's the 550 millage, which is 0.55, which is right here on our millage sheet. So that is our total millage amount. Now, it's the same math as before. Remember, you're doing this as you're evaluating a property to buy. You want to figure out how much your yearly taxes are going to be. All you will probably know is the value, the taxes assessed value. So that's what we're starting at. This property was assessed value of $95,000, and we know that we're at 6%. It says it right here, and you will know that because you're getting an investment property. So take that 95,000 times 0.06, you end up with 5,700. All right, and we know that this number here is actually a total of 550, and you put the point there. It's actually 0.550. So 5,700 times 0.550 equals 31.35. Okay, and that's what these two equal. This bill is actually broken into two again because county and city. But if you add those two up, that should be what it is. Let me just double check my math. Minus 534.66. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I'm right. My math is good. All right. So, but remember, if you look back at the owner-occupied, we had some deductions here for homestead, maybe. Oh no, we had school credit. There's none here. We had a local option. We still get the local option tax credit. That's this local option sales tax credit. That, again, political. We're not going into that. But you got a little deduction there still. But we don't ever account for that because it's generally a pretty small number. And we want to make sure we overshoot it. We don't want to shortchange ourselves when we're trying to evaluate the expense. All right, so there's not that big. The big one is the school tax credit. That's not there. It's vacant. It's zero. So that leaves our full tax liability at $2,769. This property was just a little bit more expensive or more valuable than the 4% property. What, a difference of $27,000? I guess about a little bit less than half of the value. But as you can see, the property tax is way different, way higher. I'm going to do the 4% property. I'm going to turn that into a 6% property. All right, so you will see what the difference is. Okay, so we have, I'm going back to the 4% property. We have a tax assessed value of $2,720, and we're going to multiply. We have a property value of $68,000 times 0.06. So now our tax assessed value is $40.80 times our millage, 0.4751, equals $1,938.41. Now, we will not remove the local option, the school tax credit. We will remove the local option, so minus 106.76 equals plus our trash. Now, the tax liability for this 6% property is $2,155.35. And you can see it is literally 3 times the price. 3 times the liability when you go from a 4% to a 6%. I did all this math to show you how to do it. Whenever we are going and we're going to buy 4% and it's going to 6%, I literally just times it by 3, and that's our rough number. But you could do all this math so that you know exactly what you're getting into. And another easy kind of like back of the napkin kind of math is you can take this, the 6% value, so 2,769.95. It's about 3%. If you buy a property at $200,000, you can just back of the napkin, say I got to pay about 3% a year in taxes as an investment property. Okay? That's, again, pretty close. It's not exact, but that's kind of a way that we just guess as we're looking through. And if that is close, if that property still looks good, then we'll go and run the math. If we know that at 3% this property is way off on cash flow numbers, then we don't dive in and do all this math. All right? This is so you know exactly what your expenses are going to be. All right? So I know that's a lot, but this video is meant to help answer those questions and get you through that hump, because what I hear a lot, people asking this question, is they are not taking action because they are just finding ways to creatively avoid taking action. So they get on this train about, oh, property taxes are too much. I don't know how much property taxes are. I can't buy anything. I can't invest. I can't go look for a deal until I figure out property taxes. I just showed you how to figure out property taxes, so stop avoiding taking action. Go and find a deal. Find somebody to help you find a deal and get started investing in real estate. All right? If this is the thing that's tripped you up, you're doing analysis paralysis, go. You've got the video. You can come back to this anytime. You've got the instructions. Go find a deal. All right? Andrew from REI Live. I look forward to seeing you at the next one. Bye.